Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Tonight, we are going to be bringing you the second game of the series between the Hanshin Tigers and the Chunichi Dragons. Follow-up of last night's game, one of the series where the Dragons knocked off the Tigers 7-3. All the fireworks, or most of the fireworks, came in the first inning as the Tigers jumped out to a nearly 3-0 lead, only to see the Dragons storm back with four of their own. Dragons ultimately added three more runs over the course of the ball game, and they paced themselves to a 7-3 victory over the Tigers. So tonight, what do we have in game two? Well, it's pretty much the same lineups, a couple of minor tweaks, but we do have two new pitchers, and that is always the difference in the ball games, is who is taking to the hills. So we're going to give you the starting lineup first for the visitors from Osaka, the Hanshin Tigers. Leading off tonight and in center field is number 67. That's Nozumu Takadero. Batting second at second base is number 7, Takumo Nakano. Hitting third and right field is number 1, Shota Morishita. In the cleanup spot and playing third base is number 8, Teraraki Sato. Batting in the fifth spot at first base is number 3, Yusuke Oyama. Hitting sixth and playing in left field tonight is number 58, Yukio Maigawa. Batting in the seventh spot and doing the catching is number 2, Ryotaro Umeno. Hitting eighth and at shortstop is number 38, Ryuhei Obata. Batting ninth and doing the pitching is number 51, Taiki Hayakawa. And they are going to be facing Yumeto Kanamura, who takes to the hill with a 2-2 record for the Dragons. He's worked 32 and a third innings. He's allowed 30 hits, 10 runs, 8 of which have been earned, walking 3 and striking out 26, all while pitching to an ERA of 2.23. Well, that's your starting lineup for the Tigers. Now your starting lineup for the home team, the Chunichi Dragons. Leading off tonight and playing in right field is number 4, Orlando Calixte. Batting second at third base is number 7, Hiroki Fukunaga. Batting third at shortstop is number 5, Kaito Muramatsu. The cleanup spot in left field is number 55, Seo Hosokawa. Batting fifth at first base is number 24, Jason Vossler. Hitting sixth and doing the catching, number 9, Yuta Ishii. Hitting seventh in center field is number 45, Ryuku Tsuchida. Batting eighth at second base is number 2, Makiya Tanaka. Batting ninth, doing the pitching, is number 21, and that is Yamato Kanamura. And they are going to be facing Taiki Hayakawa, who takes to the hill for the Tigers. He's worked 8 2/3 innings. He's given up 8 hits, 4 runs, all been earned, walking 3, striking out 7, pitching to an ERA of 4.15, and he is 0-1. Those are your starting lineups. First pitch is about 4 minutes away. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. Hang tight, everybody. It is Last Raps Baseball and the NPB when we return after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is a full slate of games, as it is going to be coming to you from the Nagoya Dome in obviously in Nagoya. It is the Dragons and the Tigers. I guess we'll get this out of the way early because typically that's what we do. We let everybody know where they can kind of go and find the game and watch the game, and then pretty much during the game, don't bother us, as we're going to be directing you back to that time so that you can go and find it as you may need it. And so for tonight, where might you be able to find this ball game? Well, on television, it's on NHK or it's on JSport 2. And if you're doing the online streaming, that would be DAZN or JSports On Demand. So there you have it. Those are your options, and we'll just direct everybody back early on to the 7-minute mark. We got our friend Arles says, yeah, another game and another game. Same game, day, same game. And so that is where we stand. So at the 7-minute mark, we will direct people back to where you can go and find the ball game. Well, the pitcher Kanamura has just completed his tune-up tosses, and we are ready to get this one underway, as it's going to be the top of the order. Takadero, then Nakano and Morishita to come to bat here to start the first inning. Dragons once again in their home whites with the blue trim, and every once in a while a little splash of red. And for the Hanshin Tigers tonight, well, they come back out in their road grays with the gray helmets and the piping that is black and yellow. And the first pitch of the ball game is a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count is quickly 1-0 to Takadero. We are underway at local time. It would be 2:01 p.m. There's a fastball swung on it. It is fouled away into the seats over on the third base side. Counts 1-1. Arles says, will the Tigers get their revenge tonight? And the way the pitching matchups look, if I was to say this right now, I don't think so. I think the Dragons are going to do it 2 in a row here. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the netting on the third base side, and the count is 1-2. That's how I feel. I don't think the Dragons would sweep the series, but I do think that they probably are in the position to get another one here tonight. And that all comes down to the starting pitching. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as Kanamura delivers. Slow breaking ball swung on, grounded over to the right side, and it's just grounded foul past the diving glove of the first baseman, Jason Vossler. Takadero is going to have to come back to home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes it will remain. Boy, he turned on that one, and boy, oh boy, the first base umpire also had to get out of the way on that one, as it had just bounded foul past the bag. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as Kanamura slowly works himself into the windup and delivers. There's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. The count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Had a festive crowd last night in it for this one, and we're glad for any of you who have made it back in tonight as well. So here comes the 1-2 offering as the lefty delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And Takadero's in the books. He's gone for out number 1. And for Kanamura, that's his first strikeout of the night. He is almost at a pace of 1 per inning, as he is at 26 strikeouts now now with 27 strikeouts in 32 2/3 innings. Well, that's going to bring Takuma Nakano to the plate. Nakano hitting .288, taking the first pitch fastball for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Nakano, no homers and 9 RBIs. The left-handed hitting second baseman of the Tigers. 32 for 111 this year. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball that just misses off the outside corner. Count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Lefty-lefty matchup. Choking up slightly off the end of the bat is Nakano. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball, and he's way out in front. Count now goes to 1-2. We were talking last night about the pitchers on, usually in the first inning, if some of the pitchers, if you can get to them in inning number 1, they don't get a chance to settle in, find the release point, to get used to the mound. There's a fastball taken for a called third strike. Oh, Nakano stood there like the house by the side of the road, and that's strikeout number 2, and 2 away here in the first inning for the Hanshin Tigers, and it's going to leave it all up to the right fielder in Shota Morishita. And as we were saying last night that once the pit starters get through that first inning, then usually they can get on a roll, and that was what we witnessed yesterday, as both starters, once they survived inning number 1 by giving up 3 and 4 runs respectively. They able to settle down. There's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count is 1-0 to Morishita. Morishita hitting .311 on the early going, 7 homers and 18 runs batted in. The 25-year-old. We were talking the other night about players that would have major league pedigree, guys that might be of interest, and of course Sato and Ito, as there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled into the feet of Morishita, have already declared that they are going to test the international waters and want to come to Major League Baseball for next year. I would also say that Shota Morishita would be somebody that to keep an eye on. He's 25 years old, and maybe in a couple of years' time, he might be another player to be able to make his run. I'm not saying he is like Seiya Suzuki, but he reminds me some of his play. As that breaking ball is down, and the count now 2-1 to Morishita. Our friend Samurai Prayer in the house. He says, peace and blessings to you from Japan, and we appreciate you and your support of the channel. When I'm in Osaka next time, we're going to have some tea. There is a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 3-1. Our friend 500 shows deep. He says, why are the Tigers the underdog? Well, to me, the ace, or not ace, but certainly Kanamura is a lot further up the food chain in terms of starting pitching than Hayakawa. Here's the pitch. Fastball center cut for called strike, and now the count goes to 3-2 on Morishita. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Teruyuki Sato waits his turn on deck. As the lefty Kanamura rocks himself slowly into the windup and delivers, there's a fastball swung on and lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats down the right field line. And the count is 3-2 to Morishita. Meme World said, but yesterday the starter sold them. And it was a favorite. That doesn't mean a whole lot sometimes. I think last night's pitching matchup was fairly similar. There's a fastball swung that's belted into deep left field. This ball could be trouble. Back onto the warning track, looking up as Hosokawa, and it's gone. A home run for Morishita, and that is going to give the Tigers an early 1-0 lead here as he rounds the bases. The first 2 batters down on strikes, and Morishita depositing a solo shot into the seats to give the Tigers an early 1-0 lead. So an eerily similar start to tonight's game as what we witnessed last. Our friend Samurai Prayer says Kanamura was the supporting member of the World Baseball Classic. Yeah, Kanamura he's going to be probably in the next couple of years, he'll start to look in as one of the better left-handed pitchers in all the NPB, especially with Hiroya Miyagi on the shelf for the year. You start naming the better lefties, his name should be coming into the forefront. There's a breaking ball delivered to Sato, swung on, popped up on the left side. Underneath it is the third baseman Fukunaga. He makes the catch, and Sato's gone for out number 3, and that's going to do it here in the first inning for the Tigers. But they draw first blood. 1 run in the inning on the home run by Morishita, his 8th of the year. 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the first inning. Your score is the Tigers 1 and the Dragons no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Your score, 1-0 for the Tigers early on here on the solo shot by Shota Morishita. We'll be back after this from our friend Steve.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name. And I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Taiki Hayakawa on the hill here for the Tigers, as he will be facing Orlando Calixte, Hiroki Fukunaga, and Kaito Muramatsu to get things going here in inning number 1 in the bottom half. First pitch fastball misses outside for ball 1. Calixte hitting 179 on the year, no homers and 1 RBI. He did collect a knock in last night's game. Pitch on the way, breaking ball moves him off the plate inside, and the count's now 2-0. Question is, what about Korean baseball? Is it as good as the Japanese? Not particularly. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is 2-1. The Korean League does not, number one, have the money that the Japanese League has. When they pay their import players, the maximum amount of money they can give is $1 million US. So to attract foreign stars, their international players, especially guys who can produce, the better players start gravitating to the Japanese League. Breaking ball waved at and missed, and the count now goes to 2-2 on Calixte. Other thing is the overall talent level of the KBO, I would say, wanes in comparison when you watch their teams play. I think it was a 10-team league. There are some teams you watch that are very, very strong, very, very good. And then there are other teams that you watch, and it's like they've got a couple of guys that are maybe major league quality. You got a few guys that are AAA quality. You got a couple of guys that are AA quality. And then you watch some other guys that look like they're fresh out of high school. And that is the money of the teams. There's some disparity in the KBO. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. It's now full to Calixte. The Dragons, where the Dragons play in Nagoya, they have a good turnout. There's solid support. Fortunately, I would have to say at this point, I'd be curious to know a little bit, as there's a breaking ball swung on and missed by Calixte. He's gone for out number 1. So 1 dragon up and 1 dragon down here in the first inning. That's going to bring Hiroki Fukunaga to the plate. I would say that, as far as I'm concerned, that the Japanese League, in terms of everything, the attendance, the overall attendance, the support of the game, the money that's around the game, the Japanese are ahead. It's not that I don't like the Koreans or don't like the Korean baseball. Just that right now Japan is better. There's a breaking ball that misses inside. It's quickly 1-0 to Fukunaga. Fukunaga hitting 274 with a homer and 6 runs driven in. As the pitch on the way is a changeup that swung on. It's looped softly up the middle. Have to hurry. The second baseman, Nakano. He fields it on a hop and throws to first. Fukunaga retired on a ground out 4-3 for out number 2, and that's going to leave it all up to the shortstop and Kaito Muramatsu. Game World says, talking about everything in general, Japan is beautiful and everything. Yeah, for sure. You know, the Koreans are, when I can tell you that, in my opinion, the difference, I don't want to offend people, but the Japanese culture, the people are extremely polite, very, very polite. And there's a first pitch that is taken for a called strike. And I think the difference between the Japanese and the Korean culture, they're a little bit more rugged around the edges, but that doesn't mean that they aren't friendly and that they aren't good people at heart. And there's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count now is 0-2 to Muramatsu. But they're just a little bit more rough around the edges at times. And I don't know if that's because of geographically where they are next to the other countries that they border. So here comes the 0-2 pitch as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball down, and the count is 1-2 to Muramatsu. Defensively tonight for the Tigers, from left to right field, it is Maegawa in left. Center is Takadero. In right, it is Morishita. Around the horn from first to third, Oyama at first. At second, Nakano. The shortstop, Obata. And at third is Sato, with the battery of Hayakawa and Umeno. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses outside. Count goes to 2-2. And not only would I say Japanese are polite, there's another word that I would throw out there too, and that would be considerate. Considerate to others, especially the foreigners who come in. They are, for the most part, a very considerate culture. There's a ball that is swung on and fouled away, and the count is 2-2. And I wish in some ways, especially after riding the trains in Japan and the subways and the public transit, that in North America, we could take a note or 2 or 10 from the Japanese on how to behave. Certainly people with their cell phones and their way that they sit, the way that they are, it's a cosmopolitan of nonsense. There's a breaking ball that's half swung at. The home plate umpire says Muramatsu went around. He's gone for out number 3, and that is going to do it here in the first inning as he goes down on strikes. No runs, no hits, no errors, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are through one complete. It is the Tigers with a 1-0 lead. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments to talk baseball and maybe even a little bit more about culture when we return after this.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the top of the second. It's going to be Oyama, Maegawa, and Umeno come to bat. We're talking about culture in the last half inning, and make no bones about it, that they are different countries, 1,000%, and they are different, are the peoples of Korea, China, and Japan, as there's a fastball taken for a called strike. At the same time, there are some cultural nuances between the countries, because I can tell you this, when you're in Japan, you definitely can see the Chinese tourists and who they are, and they do stick out a little different, as there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Much like when you're in Europe sometimes, and you can start to see when some of the English or German tourists are in other locations, they have a tendency to stand out for different reasons. As the 0-2 pitch is ready to come, Kanemaru rocks himself into the windup. As he kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that just misses inside. But there are some standards that the Asian cultures have right across the board. And as I say, when you're riding the public transit in Canada or the United States, it could be an adventure. It could be like going to the zoo without having to actually go to the zoo. When you're riding some of the public transit, there's a breaking ball that misses down and the count goes to 2-2. I often think when I'm sitting on a train in Japan, just how people are well-behaved. They are considerate to others. And I think about when I come back to North America, what that experience is like. Here's the 2-2. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right center field, and this ball is going to drop in. Oh boy, Orlando Calixte playing ping pong with it as Oyama is going to get it in. I thought that ball was going to be caught the way that the center fielder had started to slow up. And that center fielder, of course, tonight is Suchida. But I don't know what Calixte was thinking. We'll have to get a look at the other angle on the replay. But that ball, for sure, I thought was going to be caught. And no, they play ping pong with it in right field. So aboard with a single is Oyama. And that is going to bring the left fielder Yukio Maegawa to the plate. We got our friend Troy in the house today. Well, how's it going? He says tonight, well, it's going better than Tarek Skubal and the Detroit Tigers, who are going to be without their ace for at least 2 to 3 months with some elbow chips, it sounds like. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and best. The count is quickly 0-1 to Maegawa. Heard Dan Petrie say the other day, or at least it was today, that he had a similar surgery back in the day. I don't know if it was with the Tigers or when he went to the Angels in the latter part of his career. but a real unfortunate and disappointing situation that Skubal is going to be out. Here comes the 0-1. As the lefty Kanamura delivered called strike, the count is 1-2. We didn't give you the Dragon defense in the first inning, so we'll do that now from left to right. It is Hosokawa in left. The center fielder tonight is Tsuchida. In right field, it's Calixte. Around the horn from first to third, it's Vossler at first. At second is Tanaka. The shortstop is Muramatsu. And at third, Fukunaga. The battery of Kanamura and Ishii. Here's the 0-2. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-2 now to Maigawa. I was 50-50 on heading down to see the Braves and the Mariners tonight. I had a night off. I also had other opportunity on Wednesday, but I don't know about our friend Troy, but when gas prices are floating up at around $2.25 a liter, which for us would translate into $9 a gallon, as there's a fastball swung on, grounded to second. They go to second for one, back to first. That's going to be a 4-6-3 double play, as the Tigers are gone here for 2 outs. So that is where we stand with our gas prices. And so 2 of the Tigers gassed on 1 ground ball, and that's going to bring up the catcher in Ryotaro Umeno. So for Umeno, he's 0 for 4 on the season, only 4 at bats. He's got a slightly open stance. Pitch on the way, fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Yeah, Troy says his truck's $100 to fill up now. Yeah, I know the feeling. There's a fastball that is missing up and away, and the count's 1-1. Yeah, I've got a vehicle that is a van for work, and so right now I'm looking at, probably about 110, 120. Fastball swung on, lifted down the right field line. It's slicing into the seats foul. The count now goes to 1-2. And I think that it's, to be honest with you, there's no end in sight at this particular time. I think it's going to be a long, hot summer. Certainly with the prices, the way that things have shot up. And the grocery stores are going to be pricey as well. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Umeno down on strikes. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here in the 2nd inning for the Tigers. They go unconventionally in order. There was no runs, there was a hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now moving to the bottom half of inning number 2. It is the Tigers 1, the Dragons no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few to talk culture, gas prices, but most importantly, baseball after this musical timeout. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the heart of the order to come up for the Dragons here in inning number 2. That means Hosokawa, Vossler, and Ishii. Our friend Mimworld says, which team do you support? Well, in the Japanese league, nobody. I'm pretty much a neutral. I like good baseball, and I like certain players and so on and so forth. But our friend Troy, who's in the chat, knows there's only one team in Major League Baseball, and there's 29 farm teams that all play for Detroit. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Hosokawa. So that ought to answer that question in a roundabout way. So Hosokawa waiting on the offering from the right-hander, who delivers a fastball that just misses inside, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 strike. Troy says, have you seen Murakami on the White Sox? He's been a breakout star. Yeah, absolutely he has. And there's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count goes to 2-1 on Hosokawa. Our friend Samurai Prayer says that Monbatsu had a lot of hatred comments on Japanese social media because of his pitching yesterday. Tigers fans are too harsh at times. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's great to be passionate about the players. There's a breaking ball ticket for a call and strike. The count's 2-2, and about your teams. And when players go out and pitch, it's not like Monbatsu's trying to not be very good. He wasn't very good that night. And, when you think about certain teams like in Philadelphia in the United States, they can really, really get on top of their players. The fastball misses outside, and the count goes to 3-2. And I always tell the young kids, and I say, we cheer for each other. This is who we cheer for. We're cheering for our own team. I don't worry about the other teams. We don't cheer for the other team. We don't say anything to the other team. We just go out and play our deal. Fastball swung on, grounded softly to short. Fielded, they throw to first, and that is going to retire Hosokawa. It's a ground out, 6-3. So one gone here, and that's going to bring up the first baseman in Jason Vossler. And so, yeah, when you talk to young kids and whatever else, you want to be able to do it. And the same thing with the fan support. You want to get behind your guys. And Troy points out, he says, between social media and gambling, the players are going through a lot nowadays. Yeah, certainly the gambling aspect of the game, people are saying, hey, you didn't get me my 50 cents. There's a fastball swung on, is belted into deep right field, and we are now tied. Jason Vossler has just hit his second home run of the year as that ball is a frozen rope into right field. As he rounds the bases, it is now a 1-1 ball game in Nagoya. So I'm not sure what the over-under for the first 5 in this one was. But if you've taken the under, you might want to start biting some nails, because a couple of runs on the board here pushes it ever closer to that mark, I would have to think. My guess would be maybe 3.5 for the over-under in the first 5 combined. But we'll have to wait and see. So 1-1 is the score. That's going to bring Yuta Ishii to the plate. Yeah, the gambling portion in Japan, and that's one thing, that there's no online gambling. If you may recall, there's a first pitch strike to Ishii. That gambling for sports and gambling online is illegal in Japan. There's a breaking ball that misses inside. The count goes to 1-1. And one of the things is that there were a number of players last year. Taisuke Yamaoka, who's no longer with the Buffaloes, was one of the players who was in question. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. And a number of other players had stepped up and said, yeah, they were doing some online gambling and whatever it might be. They may not have been betting on the sport, but they were doing some gambling. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Ishii's down on strikes for the second out of the inning, so 2 gone. And that'll bring up the center fielder in Ryuku Tsuchida. And as it brings up Tsuchida, we're hoping that we're not going to have an issue here, because it looks like we got the always popular Wheel of Death. Looks like we're a little bit behind or lost our stream for a bit. So that is going to bring up Tsuchida to the plate. He's hitting 200 on the year. He's got a homer and a couple RBIs. And the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1 to Tsuchida. Tsuchida batting from the left side. Did not get the start in last night's game. Meme World says, after 30, who do you think is the favorite? As there is a fastball that catches the inside corner for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2. I still said at the opening, to me, I think the Dragons were the favorite for this one here, and I think the Dragons are still the ones that I haven't changed my mind on at this point. As the 0-2 is on the way, there's a breaking ball swung on, and it's grounded foul over on the first base side, and the count remains at 0-2. I'm not sure what the issues are. We are having some stuff that we didn't have last night, which is the occasional interruption. With another interruption here and there again. So it looks like we are behind a little bit on our feed, and hopefully it'll catch up as the 0-2 on the way. Breaking ball misses outside, and count remains at 0-2. Always popular Wheel of Death. Well, one of the things that also to keep in mind too with the sport gambling, there's a fastball swung on and missed. The ball was dropped. They're going to have to throw over to first. Strikeout 2-3 is the putout, and that is going to do it here in the third inning. I'll come back and talk about the delays in these games. 1 run in the inning on 1 hit. It was the home run by Jason Vossler. There was no errors and nobody left the board. Your scores, we're now through 2 complete innings. It is the Tigers 1 and the Dragons 1. 8-9-1 coming to bat for the Tigers when we return after this. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We're back to chat with the chat. A little more when we return after this. We got a score line of 1-1. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. I don't know what's going on. We have a little bit of a challenge here as our feed keeps interrupting a little bit here. So we'll have to see how this is going to work out. Hopefully we'll try our B feed and see if that is going to provide us any better looks at this one here, but certainly the A feed tonight has been a bit of a nuisance. Our God is great friend is in the house here. He says hello from the rising land of the rising sun. Always glad that you can make it in. As we are moving ourselves here to the top of inning number 3, it'll be Obata, Hayakawa, and Takadero to come to bat, as we are trying to get ourselves sorted here with the feed. And it's no balls and 1 strike to the hitter, and that would be Obata. So he takes a pitch down and away, and the count is 1-1. Obata hitting .316 on the year, no homers and 4 runs batted in. As we are back into this Wheel of Death. Sometimes maybe you just got to let the game flow a little bit ahead here, so the stream may be a few seconds behind. Breaking ball, take it for a called strike. The count's 1-2. I remember when I was in Chiba a couple of years ago when I was watching the game from the stands, but I also had it on my phone. And there was approximately a good solid 15 to 20 second delay between the live feed and what we would have for real. There's a fastball swung on, grounded to short. Obata fields it. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Obata on a ground out 6-3 for out number 1. And so then when you tack in about the 7-second delay, we use StreamYard to do our broadcasting. So you take on a 15-second delay off of the game feed, another 7 seconds there. That's 22 seconds. So the people who are doing online gambling and watching the games, even though you think it's live, fastball, take it for a called strike, there's quite a delay that you get between what's being delivered and what's actually being shown to you. And so in that regard, I think I've got a little bit of a problem for some of the people that are gambling and, not necessarily getting the real-time stuff. Fastball taken for a called strike. It's now 0-2 to Hayakawa. So I think there's a beef to that. And our friend Troy in particular, when he talks about the online gambling aspect of sports and those type of things, I wonder if those lags will be fixed. Fastball swung on and missed, and Hayakawa's in the books. That's strikeout number 4 recorded here by the starter, Kanamura, is going to bring up the top of the order in Nozomu Takadero. Yeah, Troy makes a good statement. He says, bet during the timeouts. First pitch fastball swung on and lifted down the left field line. It's going to slice foul, and the count is 0-1. I guess the only way you might be able to have it in real time is if your buddy's sitting at the game and you're on the phone with them, and he's giving you the play-by-play from the game. That's as real time as you're going to get. So no balls and 1 strike as the lefty kicks and delivers. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. Meme World says, if you're at the stadium, do you gain advantages? Well, if you were a gambler, you probably would, because you're sitting there on your phone and you could watch it as live as it happens. There's no delay on the feeds off of the internet. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count goes to 1-2 on Takadero. So that would be your advantage. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball missing down and in, count goes to 2-2. And I think there's value to that. Sitting in the stadium, and the next thing you know, you got all the answers at your fingertips. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the lefty rocks and delivers, there's a breaking ball down, and the count goes to 3-2. 2 gone here in the top of the third. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Takadero. He struck out his first time up against the lefty Kanamura. As the lefty gets the signs and he rocks himself slowly into the windup, he kicks and he delivers. There's a fastball swung on, hammered into the seats, foul over on the third base side. Count remains full. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. I know our friend Troy was chatting a little bit there and talking about the gamblers and different ones. There's a fastball that misses down. It's going to be ball 4. Where he ties it in here in North America is when the gamblers are losing money, they start taking to social media or other mechanisms to really go after individual players, especially now that you have the player props and you can bet on it bats, whether the guy struck out, whether he gets a hit, all those type of things. And now it becomes, the players become more focused. So to me, there's 2 things going on. Number one, the positive of gambling on the sports, it'll keep people engaged watching the game from inning 1 to inning 9, even in the case of a blowout, because people are betting on at bats and different things. Negative is that they start taking it personal. At the end of the day, you control what you do with your money and everything else. Going after the players for their performances, that breaking ball misses down, is a little bit crazy, especially when they're offering threats towards the players and some type of harm, which is completely offside. So 1 ball and no strikes as the lefty again holds to the set. And now he does a token toss over to first base, and easily getting back is Takadero. So those would be my concerns with regards to the online gambling type of stuff, and certainly the element that it brings into the sport. 1-0 on the way. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes even to 1-1 on Nakano. Nakano struck out looking his first time up, and I have to say that last pitch looked like it confused him. I don't think he's quite figured out the release point of the lefty Kanamura yet. As the lefty ready to go again, here comes the 1-1. Kicks and delivers. Slow breaking ball swung on, grounded up the middle, fielded neatly by the shortstop, who flips it to the second baseman covering. Nice play there by Muramatsu, flipping it over to Tanaka. It's going to erase Takadero on a fielder's choice. It's 6-4 in the books. He's gone for out number 3, and that is going to do it here for the Tigers in their half of inning number 3. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, 1 left the board. We're moving to the bottom half of the third. Your score: the Tigers won, the Dragons won. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments and continue our chat on everything from social media to culture and to, most importantly, baseball when we return in just a few.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game. Really exciting. Lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in, check them out, leave a like, tell other people. But Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the one-strike pitch already here to Mikiya Tanaka. He hits a ground ball over to short. The bat shatters in half. Nice play there by the shortstop Obata, who throws to first. But it is going to be the speed of Tanaka who's going to beat it out for an infield hit. I think the bat almost went as far as the ball did. We'll get a look at the replay. They may be going upstairs to look at it, but I do think that Tanaka is ultimately going to beat this out. And no, they're not going to go have a view of this one here. So he is the runner at first, and it's going to bring up the pitcher, Himuro Katamura, to the plate. Well, for Katamura, he is 1 for 11 on the season, and he's already showing that he's going to square to bunt. The 23-year-old batting from the left side, ready to face the offering, and it's a fastball taken for a called strike. Oh, that pitch looked like it was a little bit up in the zone, but home plate umpire didn't think so. So no balls and 1 strike to Katamura. Our friend Meme World says he bets on the games to watch it with more motivation. Yeah, and that's, I think, what some people would do. But there are people that, I don't know, get carried away or have uncontrollable urges, and they can't control themselves with their money. There's a ball that's bunted foul. Count is 0-2. I don't know if Troy's still with us, but I'm not sure. I know Troy lives in the area where I used to live, and one of the things is and I'm not sure where you are in the age range, Troy, but certainly I remember when the casinos first started to come in Canada and then eventually in the United States in Detroit, which had been in early to mid 90s. And, certainly when the casinos first came in, and there's a ball that is attempted to be bunted and it is missed, and that's going to strike out Katamura. He's gone for the first out of the inning. So one in the books here. It's going to bring up the top of the order, Orlando Calixte. And we were talking a little bit about, when the casinos first came into the Windsor-Detroit area, there were some crazy stories about how people would gamble and how much money they would spend and so on and so forth. And then there was, of course, a tragic piece. There was a guy that we happened to know from high school, didn't go to the same school, went to a different school. And his father went in and lost like $40,000 at the casino one night. Here's the pitch, breaking ball down, Italian guy. And anyways, the father goes into the police station, lays his wallet down on the desk, walking his own life in a way in the courtyard of the police station. And all of that coming from the gambling addictions that he had, lost, $40,000 of the family's wealth, never to be seen again. So there's a ball that's thrown over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Tanaka. So you have the sad stories like that. And of course, it's when people are addicted and they can't get off of the gambling. People come in all the time and ask us what we think. Well, what I think is going to happen doesn't mean it's going to happen. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way. It's a fastball that just misses outside. Count is 2 balls and no strikes. Just like as an example, that last pitch sure looked like it was a close pitch for a strike. Catcher framed it well. Pitch looked like it had good location. Looked like it had a little back door run, but the umpire didn't go up with the right hand. It's his judgment. My judgment, a little different than his. But I'm not the guy getting paid to make the calls. Here's the pitch. Pitch in a similar location. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes to 3-0 on Calixte. So 3 balls and no strikes. Yeah, sometimes some of the names are a little bit more of a challenge with the accent. I was listening the other day. There was a breaking ball that is missed for ball 4, and Calixte is now going to be aboard with a walk. One of the names, there was a fella who has been named the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the announcement came yesterday. The press conferences were today. And they say on TV that his name is Cheka. I looked like, maybe did they call Calixte back? Yeah, they did. That was a strike to Calixte. I thought it was ball 4. He was walking away. Now there's a pitch, and now it's ball 4. Boy, oh boy, that pitch looked a whole lot better than the one that they called him back on a strike for. And now the catcher is coming out to the mound, and they're going to come out and have a bit of a word here with Hayakawa that's going to put runners at first and second. Anyways, the fella who is named the general manager, when you listen to the sports reports here, they say it's John Cheka. And we're all kind of laughing because his grandfather was best man at my grandfather's wedding, I think it was, or vice versa. And this is going back, I don't know how many years, and so the family that's in that area in Stony Creek and Hamilton, people would say Chika, not Cheka. And so just the enunciation of how it is. But, again, you move on and you go through. It's not that anybody's doing it on purpose. It's just that's the way that the names sometimes evolve. There's a breaking ball that just is outside, and the count is 1-0 to Fukunaga. So 1 ball and no strikes, and there's no intent to offend. And sometimes it's the accents and the enunciations that make it a little bit more challenging. So 1 ball and no strikes. But to your point last night with Maigawa, you can see it on the back of the jersey, but when we look at the English translations off a lot of the websites, it spells it differently. There's a breaking ball down, and I do appreciate you for pointing that out. There's no doubt about that. So whether it be off the NPB site, whether it be off of the Wikipedia site, kind of strange the way that they have different spellings. There's the runner taking off to third. The throw down to third, it's not in time. It's going to be a stolen base by Tanaka. And Calixte is also going to get second. So a double steal has got Dragons in scoring position at second and third. So Hayakawa a little bit slow to the plate and sleeping a little bit on the mound. I was going to say, sometimes the catcher throwing down to second, you got a better chance than the runner going to third. And so the count here to the third baseman, Fukunaga, the pitch on the way is a breaking ball that misses down, and that is going to be ball 4. So he's going to walk to load the bases. So we got trouble brewing here as the Dragons bases loaded with 1 gone, and it's going to bring Kaito Muramatsu to the plate. And it's going to bring the pitching coach out of the dugout to have a word here with Hayakawa. This is the first trip of the night for the pitching coach Ando to the hill. Ando comes out to have a word with his young pitcher. Another advantage sometimes is that when you are if you're directly covering teams, if you are in the clubhouses, you can also really work on practicing some of the enunciations. So, when we're watching Major League Baseball, you get a chance to hear the different ones. Certainly when Randy Arozarena came to the big leagues, his name was often, often confused, often butchered. And then, of course, once you get the proper enunciation, a lot of people then are able to start to say it. It's not a common name, of course. Fastball misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. And so you go to the player and you ask them what's the best way to pronounce it and how do you do it that way, and they give you their insight. Fortunately, it can be hard to pick up the phone and talk to some of the Japanese players because when you got boots on the ground, it makes a huge difference than it is when you're a few thousand miles away. Fastball swung on, grounded past the diving first baseman in the right field corner. This is going to get a bunch of runs in. 1 run is in. Here comes another run across the plate. And the throw coming in, they throw to the plate, and it's going to get cut off, and it's going to bring home 3 Dragons. So Muramatsu has got himself a triple as he slides into third. The score is now 5-1. Check that, 4-1. I flashed 5-1 up on the screen. So a 3-run triple off the bat of Muramatsu. And now a 4-1 ball game here for the Dragons. Whew. That got going in a hurry. So our friend Meme World asked the question earlier on, said, hey, after 30 minutes, what do you think? And I said the Dragons. Well, we can talk that now. After 50 minutes, I'll say the same thing. Still the Dragons. There's a fastball that is swung on and missed by Seiya Hosokawa. The count is 0-1. And the walks will kill you all day long. It was a single by Tanaka, and after the strikeout by the pitcher, a walk to Calixte, a walk to Fukunaga. And that is a Muramatsu triple to bring home 3. There's a fastball missing off the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hander against the right-hander as Hayakawa delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. Hosokawa went for a bit of a chase. He's now in the hole at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as the right-hander delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is chopped back to the pitcher, fielded by Hayakawa, and he drops it. And it is going to be Hosokawa safe at first base, and the pitcher's inning has gone from bad to worse as he's going to get charged with an error. So social media is taking apart Mambetsu from last night. I wonder what they're saying about Hayakawa here tonight. Oh, my goodness. That ball was as easy and out as you get. He comes off the mound, and he just sort of got handcuffed as he tried to field it. I would kind of say to kids sometimes if they ask them jokingly, do you need a hand transplant? Because that looked like what was going to happen there. It was the hands had disappeared. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled off into the catcher. Vossler fouls it off into the catcher for 0-1. Jason Vossler homered his first time up tonight. He's 1 for 1 as he bats here with runners on the corners and 1 gone. A little bit of insurance here would be a nice big deep fly ball to get the run in. Vossler trying to elevate something, get something up in the zone. Here's the 0-1. Pitch on the way, breaking ball misses inside, and the count goes even at 1-1 to Vossler. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Talking earlier about betting, there's a sports site that we use here in our province. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And you're only allowed to place bets within the province. If you're out of province or you're in the States or you're overseas, it will not let you access the app to be able to place bets. You can only do it within the province. So it'd be like living in Japan, you could only bet in your prefecture. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away straight back, and the count remains at 1-2. So that is how that would operate sometimes. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch ready to come again as the right-hander sets and delivers. There's a breaking ball waved out and missed. And Vossler down on strikes. That was not the most productive at bat by the American as he's gone for out number 2, and that's going to bring up the catcher in Yuta Ishii. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and the Dragons are now in a 4-1 lead if you're just joining us. A bases-clearing triple off the bat of Kaito Muramatsu. has given the Dragons a 4-1 lead here. This is the 8th hitter to come to the plate. This is the catcher, Yuta Ishii. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up. We'll wait for Samurai Prayer to give us the report on the pitcher, Hayakawa. I'm sure that he is probably getting lit up on socials. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Especially after that fielding display. So no balls and 1 strike. I haven't looked to see who the starters are for tomorrow. There's a ground ball hit to third. Sato fields it. He throws to second. That's going to erase Hosokawa. Fielder's choice, 5-4 on the putout. He's gone for out number 3, and that's going to do it here in the 3rd inning for the Dragons. But Dragons have opened up a lead here in the ball game. They have 3 runs in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was an error, and there were 2 runners left aboard. Your score is at 1/3 of the game is in the books. It is the Chunichi Dragons with a 4-1 lead over the Tigers. Stick around. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with all the action. Appreciate you for hanging in here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. I'll read Troy's comments and come back and chime in on them when I return after this.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Our friend Troy, I don't know if it has come up onto the YouTube or not, but I saw the chat. Troy says that the sports were, he thinks, always rigged by the mob, but now with sports gambling mainstream and accessible to everyone, everybody is susceptible for that interference. Doesn't show up in the other parts of the chat, but I did see the messages sent. First pitch fastball misses up to Morishita. The count is 1-0. Morishita has been the only offense for the Tigers tonight. He hit that solo homer in the first. Fastball misses up. It's now 2-0. Volks says, do you think there will be a comeback here? Well, in the first inning, I said I thought the Dragons were going to win. Tigers scored first. Dragons responded. I still said I think they're going to win. And the Dragons now added 3 in the third, and I still think they're going to win. So, to be honest with you, you might as well just turn the game off because I made my prediction and Dragons are going to win. So I'll either be right or you don't have to watch it because you know the Dragons are going to win. Breaking ball swung on and missed. The count's now 2-2 to Morishita. But in all seriousness, I do think the Dragons are going to win this one, and I do think that the Tigers are going to be hard-pressed for a comeback. But the starter here has to continue to deal for the Dragons. As he rocks himself into the windup, here's the 2-2. Fastball swung on and chopped foul behind home plate. Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But for the popularity of the game and for everything to be interesting, yeah, it'd be great if we had a 4-4 game going to the 9th. Unlike the other night when we had the 10-0 game between the Marines and the Lions. Oh, it was like watching paint dry. There's a breaking ball that's down. The home plate umpire said Morishita went around. He's down on strikes for out number 1. And that is going to bring up the third baseman in Teraki Sato. So if Troy's still watching, I don't know why they gas that comment or not. I saw it through the StreamYards, but I didn't see it on the YouTube. I've got multiple platforms that I'm looking at. So maybe they didn't like what you had to say, Troy. I don't know, but that wasn't me shooting you down. Here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball taken for a call and strike, and the count is no balls and 1 strike to Sato. Sato batting from the left side here against the lefty Kanamura, who delivers. It's a fastball missing outside. Count goes to 1-1. I think the scoreboard operator is asleep at the switch. I think they missed the first pitch strike. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. On the way, fastball swung on, breaks the bat of Sato, grounds it softly to Vossler. He's going to step on the bag, and that's going to be a ground out to 3. He's gone for out number 2, and that's going to bring up the first baseman in Yusuke Oyama. Well, for Oyama, as he comes to bat here, he singled to start the second inning, but he was erased on a double play. Hocking back to the dugout, Sato, all he's got in his hand is the little bit of a sliver of the bat. So the first pitch to Oyama on the way. It's a changeup that misses outside for ball 1. Count as 1-0. Don't forget, if you are of a Latin background, it is Cinco de Mayo for most everybody with the exception of the West Coast. There's the fastball that is taken for a call strike, and the count now goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Cinco de Mayo, a popular holiday in Mexico. 1-1 pitch on the way. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Oyama. And I have to admit, I really don't know the significance of the day, because I'm not Mexican descent, so I can't share with you what the meaning is. There's a fastball swung on it, is popped up into shallow right field. Moving back on it is the second baseman, Tanaka, and he's there to make the catch, and that is going to do it as the Tigers are going to go quietly in their half of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. Your score as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning, it's the Dragons 4 and the Tigers 1. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back with the call of the bottom of the 4th inning when we return after this. Appreciate you for hanging in on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Here's our friend Steve.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be bringing you the bottom of the 4th inning. And one thing I could tell you tomorrow night, if you're going to tune on the game, it'll be Takahashi versus Takahashi. The Dragons will send their Takahashi, Koto Takahashi, to the hill against Haruto Takahashi for the Tigers. So one of the 2 Takahashis will probably get a win tomorrow night. You can bet on that. Well, it is scores for around the NPB in the 4th inning. You've got the Giants with a 3-0 lead over the Swallows. Also in the 4th inning, it is 2-0 for the Carp over the Bay Stars. Over in the Pacific League, it is 3-0 for the Buffaloes over the Marines. As the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball down and into Tsuchida. Tsuchida, Tanaka, and Kanamura to come to bat here. And then you've got 3-2 for the Lions over the Hawks. and 1-0 for the Fighters over the Eagles. Those are your scores from around the NPB. Fastball swung on, belted into deep right field. This ball could be trouble, and it is. It's gone. Another home run here for the Dragons as Sachita has gone yard, his second homer of the year. That ball was absolutely blistered, and that has now given the Dragons a 5-1 lead. So our friend Volks, who was in here earlier, saying, do you guys think there will be a comeback? My answer is still the same, and that answer is no. Dragons all the way. But that's why we play the game, and so we'll find out if the story will continue. So the Dragons now with a 5-1 lead. That's going to bring Makia Tanaka to the plate. And the first pitch to Tanaka as he squares the bunt. That pitch is taken for a ball. Boy, oh boy. I'd like to see that pitch again. He squared the bunt. He took the pitch for a ball. They appealed over to first base. Nothing was given there. Pitch looked like it was a pretty good darn pitch. There's a breaking ball that misses inside. And so again, the catcher holding the ball a little extra long. That signals to me that he's not happy with the home plate umpire's calls. So 2 balls and no strikes. We were looking, and we still are looking, that we are going to do the Eagles and the Fighters tomorrow. As another fastball misses up and away, it's now 3-0 to Tanaka. Kenta Maeda takes to the hill for the Eagles against Hiromi Ito. We were looking to do that on the channel and are probably still looking to do that as well. Fighters and Eagles tomorrow night. Breaking ball misses up and in. That's going to be ball 4, and Tanaka is aboard with a walk, and that is going to bring up the pitcher in Yamamoto Kanamura. And it's also going to bring the manager out of the Tigers dugout, and that looks like it's going to be the end of the night for Taiki Hayakawa. He has seen enough, and his day is over. So they are calling to the bullpen, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments after this from our friend Steve.
Hey, where are you going? It's a pitching change. Come on, sit back down. You don't go out there. Don't go get no food or anything. You've got a big decision. Are you going to throw in there Raleigh Fingers? Maybe Goose Gossage? How about maybe Mariano Rivera or Lee Smith, Dennis Eckersley? Who knows? It's a pitching change. Come on back. You know who I would pick for this? A nice, tall, cool one. There's my pitcher. That's my pitching change. That's a winning combination. Come see my channel. You know, every day is opening day. And according to Bob, I must be in the front row. Blah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change indeed. As they're going to the bullpen, it'll be a right-hander, and this is going to be Tsuyoshi Shiba, as he will take over here for the starter Taiki Hayakawa. So Hayakawa's night is done after 3+ innings. He leaves on 63 pitches. The runner at first, Tanaka, is still his responsibility, as he will be having to turn the ball over to Shiba. Well, Shiba completes his tune-up tosses. We'll be ready to resume the action here in just a couple moments. We were saying and looking ahead to tomorrow night, as it'll be Eagles and Fighters. I'd like to see how Hiromi Ito pitches tomorrow. Kenta Maeda has been okay in his starts this year, and I say okay in his return to the NPB. He hasn't got a win yet, and he has worked 11 1/3 innings, allowing 15 hits, walking 8, striking out 11, and pitching to a 5.56 ERA. There's been moments of brilliance, but much like when he was with the Detroit Tigers last year and a couple of years ago, pitches all right for a couple innings, and he has an inning that just goes completely sideways. So hopefully he'll be able to sort himself out in the NPB and finish his career nicely. For Ito, well, he is 2-2 on the year, and he has pitched to a 3.99 earned run average, striking out 32 batters in 38 1/3 innings of work. Not quite the Sawamura Award winner that we saw last year, but still nonetheless a pretty solid arm. Well, it brings the pitcher Kanamura to the plate, as he bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Shiba, who fields the ball. It's a bunt. He goes to second, and he fires the ball into center field. Oh, my goodness. They had the for sure out at first. The runner is Tanaka, and he moves fast. He was almost on top of the bag. Not the best decision for Shiba as he chose to throw to second base. He ends up throwing it into center field. The ball was bunted straight back to him, so he got it. He didn't even take the look. He just turned it through. Tanaka, to his credit, he was moving quick. There was no way they were going to make that play. So they're going to definitely rule that one as a fielder's choice, I would have to think. I don't think it's going to be an error. It's definitely not a sacrifice because the runner reached base. I'll have to wait and see what the official scores have to say. But that brings Orlando Calixte to the plate, who is 0 for 1 today. He has struck out, he's walked and stole a base and scored a run. As the right-hander works himself into the set, Calixte squares the bunt and he takes the pitch off the outside corner for ball one. The count is 1-0. So the Dragons here are looking for more with that 5-1 lead. Runners are at first and second. Nobody out here in the inning. And the top of the order coming to the plate after the bottom part has set the table. So here comes the 1-0 pitch as the right-hander works to the set position. Now he kicks and delivers. Calixte again squares the bunt, pulls back and takes it for a call and strike. Not sure he was pleased with the home plate umpire's decision based on his body language. So 1 ball and 1 strike as the right-hander again works to the set. Here's the pitch, again squaring the bunt, again pulling back, and this one taken for a called strike. And Calixte not happy at all with the home plate umpire. He turns back, and I don't know how much Japanese Calixte knows. I'm not exactly sure how much Spanish or English that the home plate umpire knows, but the look was that of a death stare. I think everybody knows what that means. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Calixte going to have to put the ball into play here. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Right-hander Shiba kicks and delivers. Breaking ball missing down and away. I think if he would have went up with the right hand there, I think Calixte would have went off. Not been very happy. And I can understand why. They did rule that as an error on the pitcher, by the way, so that would have been E1 that allowed Kanamura to get to the base. I thought they might have given him a fielder's choice, but it was maybe on the throw. I don't think the throw was the one that was the issue. Fastball swung on, pop foul. It's going to reach the seats behind home plate. And the count remains at 2s to Calixte. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the right-handed hitting Calixte waiting here on the offering from the reliever Shiba. Shiba on in relief. He's got himself in a bit of a jackpot here. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball swung on, chop foul over on the third base side. Goes into the camera well. Count remains at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. For those of you who are just joining us, we appreciate you guys for being here. Second game in as many nights of the Tigers and the Dragons from the Nagoya Dome in Nagoya, or the Vantolin Dome in Nagoya. Used to be the Nagoya Dome, I guess, until they sold the naming rights. There was a fastball swung on, another one lifted foul. So Calixte giving a battle here. It's going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. So the pitcher, Shiba, goes down to the rosin bag, blows on his hand, wipes himself off, and now he gets engaged with the rubber. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander holds set, there's a fastball swung on and missed. And Calixte down on strikes, but a quality at bat by him, forcing Shiba to have to go to 8 pitches. He's gone for the first out, and that is going to bring up the third baseman in Hiroki Fukunaga. And for Fukunaga, well, he's 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded to second his first time up. He walked and scored a run in the third. He's got his average at .271 with a homer and 6 runs driven in. Right-hander against the right-hander. Shiba getting his signs from the catcher Umeno as he works himself to the set. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. Game had a pretty good clip to it until the pitching change, and once Shiba has come in, a bit of a halt here. You sometimes see that when the relievers come in, they have a little different tempo and pace than the starters do. Of course, they're pitching from the stretch. 0-1 on the way. Breaking ball swung on and missed. The count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. So no balls and 2 strikes. Again, the right-hander working himself into the set. Here comes the 0-2. Fastball just misses off the outside corner. Good spot there by Shiba. Did not induce the swing of Fukunaga, so 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Right-hander against the right-hander. Shiba ready to go again as he gets the sign from Umeno. Working set, checks the runner at second. Checks him again. And now delivers. Fastball swung on, hammered down the right field line. If it's fair, it's going to be trouble, but it's going to just slice foul. Oh, he didn't miss it by much. If that ball would have stayed fair, you could probably bet that the runner would come all the way from first as well, even though it's the pitcher running. I think they would have been able to score there. It was just over the outstretched glove of the first baseman, Oyama, and it just was foul by a matter of inches. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it remains here to Fukunaga. Runner at second, Tanaka. Runner at first, Kanamura. 1 gone here in the inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Fukunaga. Here comes the pitch. Shiba holds set. Now he delivers. Breaking ball swung on, lifted down the right field line, but this is slicing foul into the seats, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1-2 it remains here to Fukunaga. As again, the right-hander leading in, nodding in agreement with his catcher, and he works himself back into the set. Here comes the 1-2. Fastball misses up and away. Count goes 2-2. That was a borderline of a quick pitch. He was really quick to the plate that time, Shiba. Most of the time, Shiba comes set, and he takes forever. The time there, it was get the ball and go. Here comes the 2-2. There's a breaking ball down in the dirt. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say that Fukunaga didn't go. That's going to run the count full. They thought they might have induced a swing. We'll get a look at the replay on that one. Oof. I would say probably the right call by the home plate umpire. If it was the road team, we might have saw the hand go up. I think the first base umpire knows what side his bread is buttered on. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, Shiba ready to go. Here comes the pitch. On the way. Breaking ball down, and that's going to load the bases. Fukunaga with a base on balls, his second of the night. That's going to bring Tanaka over to third. Kanamura goes over to second. And it is going to bring Kaito Muramatsu to the plate, who has been in this position before. He tripled home 3 runs in the third inning. And he's got an opportunity to do it all over again. So since Shiba has come into the game, he's been highly ineffective. He's made an error. He did strike out Calixte, and now he's walked Fukunaga to load the bases. He needs to be able to induce himself or get himself a ground ball for a potential double play. 5-1 Dragons in the lead, looking to blow the game apart. As the right-hander kicks and he delivers a fastball that is swung on and missed. That was at 95 miles an hour on the gun, so no balls and 1 strike to Muramatsu. Crowd is cheering away here as the Dragons fans and supporters are smelling blood. Here's the 0-1. Fastball comes inside and almost hits Muramatsu. Count goes even at ones. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hander against the left-hander. As the righty kicks and he delivers, there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. So again, the right-hander leans in, gets the sign. Shiba looking at the signals for Memento. And now he works himself to the set. 1-2 pitch ready to come here to Muramatsu. Pitch is on the way, and it is a fastball swung on. It is belted into deep center field. This should get a run in. Over to make the catch is the center fielder, Takadero, tagging at third and coming home with the 6th run of the ball game is Tanaka. So a sacrifice fly to center. That's the 4th RBI on the night by Muramatsu as he drives in another run. High fives all around. And it has given the Dragons now a 6-1 lead here in the 4th inning. So if you took the over in the first 5 innings, you can pump a fist as you probably have exceeded that already. So 2 gone in the inning. Runners are at first and second, and it is going to bring up the center fielder in Seiya Hosokawa. Sorry, left fielder in Seiya Hosokawa. Hosokawa waiting on the offering here from Shiba, who holds to the set. Now delivers. It's a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1. Hosokawa tonight, well, he's 0 for 2. He reached on an error and he's grounded out. Another thing tonight is the defense of the Tigers, and it's been with the pitchers. Both of the pitchers have made the errors, throwing error and a fielding error. So no balls and 1 strike to the big fella. Hosokawa waits here on the pitch from Shiba. Kicks and fires. Fastball misses way upstairs. Count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Crowd cheering, leading the way. Here comes the pitch. Breaking ball misses way outside. Count now goes to 2-1 on Hosokawa. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Hosokawa as the runners are at first and second. Kanemaru, the pitcher at second base, the runner at first, Fukunaga. Here comes the pitch. On the way, breaking ball, taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 2-2. Bottom of the fourth inning. Dragons up 6-1. And looking for more. Again, Shiba working to the set. 2-2 forthcoming. Here's the pitch. Fastball, and it's check swing foul over on the first base side. Pitch was up in the zone. Osakawa couldn't hold up. 2-2 it remains. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander works himself into the set position. Here comes the 2-2. Breaking ball, take it for a called third strike. Oh, Hosokawa, watch that one go by for out number 3. And that is going to do it here for the Dragons. They send 7 hitters to the plate. They collect a pair of runs in the inning. 2 runs in the inning on the benefit of only 1 hit. There was an error, and there were 2 runners left aboard. Your scores were now through 4 complete. It is the Dragons 6, the Tigers 1. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action after this timeout from our good friend Steve.
Thank you, Freddie. Appreciate your support and everybody out there. Steve again here, obviously, with the Milwaukee Brewers. Of course, we have Bernie Brewer on my favorite beverage of choice right there, along with a card of Bernie. Yay! Now, we got some special guests here. I'm not just talking about our Hall of Fame lineup. I must be in the front row. Hey, come on there, Robin. I got 3,000 hits. What do you have? Well, I was the all-time saves leader, and I got 1.5 feet on you. Okay, Raleigh, settle down, buddy. Now, none of this could be possible without Harvey's Wallbangers. There's Harvey. And who could forget the Fonz? Hey.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters slated to come to bat for the Tigers. That means Maegawa, Umeno, and Obata. As this will be the 5th inning here for these ball clubs. And we've got Maegawa, who grounded into a double play his first time up. Umeno, who struck out, and Obata, who grounded out. But a tough night at the office for the Tigers. Only 2 hits so far in this one. And in the solo shot by Morishita in inning number 1 has given them the early 1-0 lead. But much like last night's game, it's been all Dragons since then. If that's a bad omen or not for the Tigers to score first. So the left-hander, Kanemaru, just completing his tune-up tosses. Little late to the party here, as we notice sometimes because the pitchers are on the base paths, takes them a few extra moments to get themselves ready once they come off. 61 pitches through the first 4 for the left-hander. So he's pretty much on pace for what we would expect. He has issued 1 walk, and he has 5 strikeouts recorded, at least by our counts. And this brings Yukio Maegawa to the plate. Maegawa hitting .267 on the season, grounded into that double play back in inning number 2. Swings at a first pitch fastball and fouls it away, and the count is quickly 0-1. Left field was a black hole last year for the Tigers in the Japan series, as they ran through a number of players in left field. Not a lot of production. Sheldon Noisy, when they won the Japan series a couple of years ago, he gave them some much-needed production. There was a breaking ball that's down, but he couldn't live up to the efforts the next year and season ended a little bit short. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count now 1-2 to Maegawa. But that was definitely noticeable last year in the Japan series, the lack of production from the left fielder, as well as the bottom third of the batting order. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as the lefty kicks and delivers. There's a fastball missing down and in. It's now running the count to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, grounded foul over on the third base side. Count remains at 2-2. Those of you just joining us, as we said, it was a solo shot the first inning by the Tigers' Morishita. Dragons answered with one of their own in the second on a home run by Vossler. Then it was a 3-run triple in the third off the bat of Muramatsu. And a home run by Tsuchida in the fourth, and another RBI credited to Muramatsu on a sacrifice fly that has got us to this 6-1 Dragon lead. There's a breaking ball swung on, grounded past the glove of the pitcher, fielded by Tanaka. He fields it on, throws on the run. It's going to retire Maegawa on a ground out 4-3. He's gone for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up the catcher in Ritaro Umeno. And so Umeno comes to the plate. He has struck out his only time up. 0-for-1. So Kanemaru ready to go. He rocks himself into the windup and he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Umeno. So no balls and 1 strike. Lefty rocks himself into delivery. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow center field. Moving back on it is the shortstop, and it's going to be hauled in by Muramatsu. So Umeno is going to be gone for the second out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the shortstop in Ryuhei Obata. And so for Obata, well, he's 0-for-1. He has grounded to short his only time up. Batting from the left side here against Kanemaru, who kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into right center field. Moving over and making the catch is Calixte. So that is going to do it here as the Tigers go in order in their half of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. And by our counts, it would appear like we have 7 in a row retired by the starter Kanemaru. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this. Appreciate you guys for hanging in with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We're going to put the music on loop. We'll be back after this. Well, maybe not quite loop yet, as we've got to go for the bottom of the 5th. Oh, it's one of those nights. Here's Matt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it is a 6-1 Dragons lead. It is Shiba, who is coming back out for another inning of work. He's going to be facing Vossler, Ishii, and Tsuchida. I started to jump the gun a little bit. After this half inning, it'll be a break. We should have just went right to break and looped it through, as it is going to be what we like to call our Japanese halftime. That is where they take a 5-minute break between innings. It seems to be a little shorter in the Central League. First pitch breaking ball taken for a call and strike. That allows us to refresh our beverage. maybe the officials to have themselves a smoke break or something like that. As the 0-1 is on the way. Breaking ball misses down and in. The count goes to 1-1 on Vossler. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Shiba, the second pitcher used tonight. As there's a ball that is hit into right center field. Moving over is Morishita. He's there to make the catch. Vossler, he's gone for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the catcher in Yuta Ishii. Game now is trying to get the number of outs down. So this brings Yuta Ishii to the plate. Ishii 0 for 2. Struck out and bounced into a fielder's choice. He swings at a fastball and lifts that one foul into the seats over on the first base side. Count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Ishii batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Shiba, who rocks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on, another one popped foul into the seats behind home plate. Count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Again, Shiba delivers. There's another fastball that misses way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Ishii. Unfortunate that the game has kind of had this spread. That's exactly where we're at right now. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Shiba kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on, lifted into left center field. Moving over and making the catch is Takadero. It's going to retire Ishii for the second out of the inning. But in some ways, good for the Dragons. We were looking at the way that the Dragons were playing here tonight. As I go back and have a peek at the NPB standings, certainly the standings, they're going to help the Dragons here. The Dragons are dead last. They were the last team to win 10 games in all the NPB. There's a breaking ball missing up and away. They got their 10th win last night. They have tied the Carp on the win category. But they are still a game and a half behind because the Carp have a couple of games in hand. Pitches a fastball missing inside, and the count now goes to 2-0. Be interesting. They could have more wins than the Carp, but be behind them in the standings just because they played more games. On the flip side, the Tigers are in first, but they played 1 less game than the Swallows, as that breaking ball misses. The count is now 2-1. They are 19-11-1 are the Tigers, 20-12 are the Swallows. As that pitch is taken for a called strike, the count now goes to 2-2 on Tsuchida. Tsuchida 1 for 2. He's got the home run and the strikeout here tonight. As the right-hander Shiba ready to deliver again, kicks and fires. Breaking ball swung on, grounded up the middle. That's got eyes. It's going to get into center field, and Tsuchida aboard with a 2-out single, and that is going to bring up the second baseman, Makia Tanaka. Are Hamon's in the house tonight? He says outside of the first inning, the Tigers' bats are dead. Yeah, I think I want to call the lumberyard and find out what is going on. Lots of holes in the bats of the Tigers. Been bitten by the Dragons in Nagoya. So this brings Makia Tanaka to the plate. He's been all over the base paths. He's got a single, a walk. He's scored a couple of runs, and he's stolen a base. He's got his average up to 220 now on the season. Here's the pitch from Shiba. It is a fastball missing way upstairs. Count is 1-0. Those are facts. The Tigers' bats have been silent outside of the first inning last night and the first inning tonight. I always say good pitching beats good hitting, and the Dragons have had good pitching in the first 2 games of the series. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats. Count 1-1 here to Tanaka. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner at first. Sachita getting his lead. Here comes the 1-1. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses up. It's now 2-1 to Tanaka. And really, in some of the ways, it's been the bottom 3 hitters in the batting order that have done the damage. Sachita with a home run and a single tonight. Tanaka has got a pair of runs, and then, of course, Kanemura reaching on an error. So far, they have been on base a whole bunch of times. There's a ground ball hit up the middle, fielded by the second baseman, Nakano. He throws to first, and Tanaka gone on a ground out. That's 4-3 in the books. Let me just finish off by saying, so far tonight, in 8 appearances, 5 out of the 8 times the bottom 3 have come to bat for the Dragons, they've reached base. That's pretty impressive. And that'll do it to you all the time. They can turn the batting order over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left to board. Your scores were now through 5 complete. It is a 6-1 ball game for the Dragons. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few after these musical timeouts on the channel. It is the music on loop, and it was we call Japanese halftime, and we'll be back in just a bit.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It is slated to be the 9-1-2 hitters to come to bat for the Tigers in their half of the inning. So we'll have to wait and see if we are going to get ourselves a pinch hitter, and we actually are. It is going to be the infielder Seiya Kanami, who is going to get the opportunity to pinch hit. So Seiya Kanami up here to face the starter, Kanamura, who is working on 70 pitches so far through 5. And the first pitch fastball he throws is lifted into deep right field. Backing up onto the warning track is Calixte. And with one pitch, we have one away here to start the 6th inning. So Seiya Kanami in the books. He is gone for out number 1. That is going to bring up the top of the order in Nozumu Takadero. So Takadero coming in. So one gone here. And the lefty-lefty matchup begins with a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1 to Takadero. Takadero has walked and struck out in his 2 trips. Fastball misses down. Count goes even to 1-1. So ball and a strike. Lefty slowly rocking himself into the windup. Here comes the pitch. Fastball misses outside. Count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike it is. Fastball swung on and it is lifted foul just over on the first base side. Count is 2-2 to Takadero. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the lefty rocking slowly into the windup. He kicks and he delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted down the left field line, but it's going to slice into the temporary seating. Count remains at 2s. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the lefty ready to go again as he nods in agreement with his catcher. He slowly works himself into the windup. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The appeal over to the third base umpire, but they say that Takadero didn't go around. Count is full. 6-1 lead here in the 6th inning. You can say the Tigers are starting to run out of outs in a way. They've got 11 outs left to play with. Dragons pitcher here looks like he is going to be here for a couple of more innings, one would have to think. Breaking ball swung on, grounded over to first. Vossler takes it on the short hop. Fields it, steps on the bag. It's ground out to 3 for out number 2. That is going to bring up the second baseman in Takuma Nakano. Well, for Nakano, he's 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and he has bounced into a fielder's choice. First pitch fastball misses outside, and the count is 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses. Oh, that catches the outside corner. Yeah, the batter Nakano can't believe it. His head whiplashed back on the pitch. Home plate umpire sometimes tonight. Looks like it's a guessing game. There's a breaking ball that was better than the last pitch, but that's called a ball. So 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm not saying that last pitch was any good because I didn't like the one before. If you're going to call the one before, might as well call that one too. Here's the 2-1. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses upstairs. Now 3-1 to Nakano. You certainly don't want to walk Nakano and then have to face Morishita with ducks on the pond. Morishita already with a home run here tonight. If he hits another home run with nobody on, it's a solo shot. It only counts as 1 point. There's a fastball swung on it. Is lifted into left center field. And this ball is going to get down. Picking it up is Hosokawa, digging for second. And cruising in safely is going to be Nakano, and he's got himself a stand-up double with 2 gone here. And that is going to bring up the aforementioned Shota Morishita. As we said, Morishita, you don't want to necessarily face him with runners aboard. He can do all kinds of extra damage to you. So Morishita steps in. He's got a home run and a strikeout to his name tonight. He can provide instant offense. He is in scoring position when he gets to the plate. He's with that home run back in inning number 1. It was his 8th of the year. As the lefty kicks and fires, there's a fastball that just misses under the hands, and the count is 1-0. It's 1 ball and no strikes. This is what you don't want if you're the Dragons. Got to be able to split these guys up. If you can get Morishita out, then you got Sato to lead off the next inning. Best way to keep these guys apart here, limit your damage. There's a fastball, take it for a call and strike. Count is 1-1. I think Morishita would want that one back. That might be the best pitch of the at-bat he's going to see. So 1 ball and 1 strike as the lefty holds to the set. Check the runner at second. Now they deliver. It's a fastball that misses down and in. Count goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike as Sato waiting his turn on deck. He would love to be able to come to the bat with extra runners on base. That could really tighten this game up in a hurry. Dragons lefty working set. Here comes the 2-1. Checks the runner at second, now delivers. Fastball swung on. This ball is driven into deep left field, and it is going to be caught just on the edge of the warning track by Hosokawa, and that is going to do it. Not enough lift, a lot of ball on the line, and Morishita gone for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for inning number 6 for the Tigers. They had no runs in the inning. They did have a hit. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We now move ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 6. It is the Tigers trailing the Dragons 6-1. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you for listening in on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Back right after this timeout.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. That's right, everybody. We know baseball, and we know that it is a 6-1 lead here for the Dragons as we go to the bottom half of inning number 6. Been lots of entertainment here in this one tonight. We're glad you guys could make it in to join us for all of the action. It'll be slated to come to bat the 9, 1, and 2 hitters as it is going to be a pitching change as it's Hatake who has taken over on the mound for the Hanshin Tigers. So a 3rd pitcher used here tonight. As we have noted that the pinch hitter Kanami came in the pitcher's spot. And so as this continues here, it is still Kanamura, the pitcher who is batting, and the first pitch is a fastball taken for a call and strike. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Hatake working quickly, kicks and delivers. There's a fastball missing upstairs. Count runs even at 1-1. Seishu Hatake on in relief here as he rocks and delivers. There's a fastball taken for a call and strike, and we are now at a ball and 2 strikes. Right-hander working quickly, which we like. Delivers a pitch. It's a fastball down in the dirt. Count goes to 2-2. Can't say that we're not excited about the pitchers moving quickly. Get this game moving here when you're at a 5-run spread. Take kicks and fires. Fastball swung on, grounded to the left side. Fielded by Obata. He fires to first. Pitcher gets down the line fairly well. It's going to go down in the books as a ground out. 6-3 for out number 1. That'll bring up the top of the order in Orlando Calixte. So for Calixte, he comes to bat here. Batting from the right side against the right-handed throwing Hatake. They pitch on the way. Fastball misses upstairs. Count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Again, the right-hander kicks and he delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Right-hander slowly works and delivers. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, popped up. He's going to reach the seats over on the first base side. 2-1 to Calixte. Calixte 0 for 2 tonight officially. Has struck out twice, walked, stolen a base, and scored a run. Looking for his first hit of the evening. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. On the way, it is a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 2s on Calixte. Here's the 2-2 offering. That's another split finger pitch swung on and missed, and Calixte's got himself a hat trick here tonight, or a sombrero, depending on how you look at it. So he is gone for the second out of the inning. Let's go leave it up to the third baseman in Hiroki Fukunaga. And for Fukunaga, well, he is officially 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded to second. He's walked twice and scored a run. And the first pitch is taken for a ball as it's outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Right-hander Hatake delivers again. Breaking ball drops in for a called strike. Count is 1-1. Ball and 1 strike it is. Working very quick is Hatake. There's another breaking ball missing way upstairs. Count goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike. Right-hander again delivers. Fastball swung on, and this one's fouled away. Reaches the seats behind home plate. Count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hatake nodding in agreement, getting some sign that he likes. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses inside. Count now full to Fukunaga. As the right-hander delivers again, there's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted in up behind second base. And now moving over and making the catch is Nakano, and that is going to do it. As Fukunaga gone for the third out of the inning, and the Dragons go quietly here in their half of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. We are now through 6 complete, 2/3 of the game in the books. Your score, the Dragons 6 and the Tigers 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this musical timeout. Stay with us. Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Your score, it's 6-1 Dragons as we move to the top of the 7th. We'll be back after this as Steve has a beverage.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey, Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game, really exciting, lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course, I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, I got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in, check them out, leave a like, tell other people. But Freddie's coming back. I gotta go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the seventh inning, and slated to come to bat will be the heart of the batting order in Teruaki Sato, Yusuke Oyama, and Yukio Maegawa. So the 4, 5, and 6 hitters to face the lefty Kanamura, who is back on for his 7th inning work. 87 pitches for the left-hander through 6, as he has been sparkling tonight. By our counts, he's got 5 strikeouts. He has had recorded 1 since the 4th, but he has retired 10 of the last 11 batters that he has faced. There's a breaking ball that is dropped by the catcher, but given for a strike by the home plate umpire. That's one thing that kind of drives me crackers a bit. And there used to be an old adage, you got to catch the pitch to earn the pitch. And that one there was definitely not earned. So no balls and 1 strike. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Sato batting from the left side. As he kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, the lefty rocks himself into the delivery, and he kicks and he fires. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Our friend CV, baseball card collector in the house. CV, great to have you with us. Good to talk to you last week as well. Got a chance to break it down with CV, our Californian friend. As the 2-2 is on the way, it is a breaking ball, waved at and missed, and Sato is in the books. And speak it into existence, that is the 6th strikeout of the night now for Kanamura. So 1 gone here, and that'll bring up the first baseman in Yusuke Oyama. Our friend CV, we're going to try to connect and try to get to a game either in Hillsboro or possibly even, maybe better for me anyways, at least in Tacoma. And be prepared, CV, because they say you got to get used to the aroma in Tacoma, because I guess there was a garbage dump nearby. Fastball misses down and in. The players used to complain about that when they were playing down there because you always had that smell. So I guess we'll get to experience it for ourselves. I don't know if it still exists or not. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, Everett is definitely closer to me. I don't mind going there either. Breaking ball that swung on and missed, and the count is 2-1. Either one, Tacoma or of them work if we can. The one place that is going to be hard to make work will be Hillsboro. That's just a little further. That's closer to Portland. Fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side, fielded by Vossler. He's going to easily win the race to the bag. Oyama gone on a ground out to 3 for out number 2, and that's going to bring up the left fielder Yukio Maegawa. The ballpark at Everett is an interesting park. I should probably do a little feature on it, maybe on one of our channels. They got a high school football stadium in behind the third base side. And the wall in right center field, I think in the power alley, I don't even know if it's 300 feet, but the wall is like 50 feet high. And right down the line, it's like 330. There's a first pitch fastball swung on and missed by Magawa. Count is 0-1 to him. Magawa 0 for 2 tonight. He has grounded out twice. It's a really weird park, but if you sit on the third base side, you got a beautiful view of the Cascade Mountains and a beautiful sunset sometimes too, as breaking ball misses upstairs. We get the evening games, just the way that the sun sets, the way that the clouds and the sky is in the distance to the east. It's a really neat look, especially with sometimes if you get the snow caps on the mountains. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. This ball could be trouble. Looking up, and it is gone. A home run for Magawa, as he has just delivered his first homer of the year. It's the second run of the ball game for the Tigers. So they inch their way back slightly here. That's only the fourth hit of the game recorded by the Tigers. So Magawa going deep. Going to bring up the catcher in Ryotaro Umeno. So maybe the Tigers have a little bit of life left. They are running out of outs, only 7 outs to play with. And I would bet dollars to donuts we're probably going to see the lefty again in the next inning. I mean, they did it last night where they went 8 and they brought Saito in for the 9th. If I'm the Dragons, do it again. Don't trust your bullpen. Keep them seated. Let them stay fresh. So 6-2 is now the score line. So the ERA just went up to 2.31. 99 pitches for the left-hander at the moment, and that is going to bring, or slated to bring, the catcher Umeno to the plate. As the first pitch coming here from Kanamura, and the fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. There's a pitch that just misses outside. Count goes to 1-1 on Umeno. 2 gone here in the 7th as the lefty rocks into the windup. Kicks and delivers. Breaking ball swung on, popped up. On the right side of the infield, it's playable. Underneath it is Tanaka. He's going to haul it in, and that's going to do it as Umeno's gone for the 3rd out of the inning, and that's going to do it here in the 7th for the Tigers. Well, run in the inning on 1 hit. It was the home run by Magawa. No errors and nobody left the board. You're moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is a 6-2 ball game. We'll be back in just a few. We appreciate you for listening in. It is time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Japanese style. We'll be right back after this musical timeout and chat it up with the chat. Welcome back, everybody. Our friend CV says the White Sox sure scored with Murakami. Yeah, they did. There's no doubt about it. He was 3 for 4 with a couple RBIs and yet another home run tonight, number 14. Don't sleep on Okamoto. He's got 9 home runs for the Blue Jays now, and he is producing for them. So, the White Sox with Murakami and, of course, with Okamoto, the 2 Japanese hitters that have come across have not disappointed on either front, at least on the offensive side of things. So, yeah, definitely Murakami has been producing. I would have maybe not necessarily thought that originally, So we have another pitching change as the Tigers are going to their bullpen. It is going to be number 37, Masaki Oyakawa, on in relief. So he is taking over here. He will be the fourth pitcher used. So Oyakawa on in relief. As he is slated to face for the Dragons here, it's supposed to be Muramatsu, Hosokawa, and Vossler. And the first pitch just misses for a ball. Count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Lefty-lefty matchup. As Oyakawa ready to deliver. He kicks and he delivers. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1 to Muramatsu. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. Lefty ready again. He rocks and he delivers. There's a fastball that misses inside. The count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Cowan nodding in agreement with his catcher. Here comes the 2-1. Pitch on the way. Fastball just misses down. Count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, check that. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. I got it 2-2. The scoreboard's at 3-1. I guess we're going to find out what it is here on the pitch. That is going to be ball 4, so I marked the wrong category, but it looked like the umpire had gone up with the hand. That's going to be ball 4. So Muramatsu gets himself a leadoff walk here, and that's going to bring up the left fielder in Seo Hosokawa. I got to say, I've not been on song with this home plate umpire tonight. Whatever he's done, I've done differently. Whatever I've done differently, he's done differently. That's just the way it is. That's the way it goes. So this brings to the plate Hosokawa. He is officially 0 for 3 tonight. He has grounded out. He's reached on an error and struck out looking. As the lefty Oyakawa kicks and delivers, there's a fastball hammered foul just past the bag at third base. That was quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Right-handed hitting. Hosokawa waits. Here's the pitch. Fastball catches the inside corner, and the count now goes to 0-2. So Oyakawa delivering here. No balls and 2 strikes. Right-handed hitter waggling the bat as they hold into the set position. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded foul over on the third base side. Count remains at no balls and 2 strikes. Jason Vossler will follow, and potentially it'll be Yuta Ishii come to bat here in the inning. 2 strikes here to Hosokawa. Runner at first is Muramatsu. Hosokawa waggles the bat, waiting here on the delivery from the left-hander Oyakawa. As the pitcher comes to the set, now he delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. Oh, Hosokawa chased the pitch way up and out of the zone. He's gone for the first out of the inning. That'll bring Jason Vossler to the plate. He would have needed a stepladder to hit that one. That was got a boy, oh boy. You can see Hosokawa's not happy with himself. Walks back to the dugout. Should have put a white flag on the top of the bat. He's in the books for out number 1, and that brings to the plate Jason Vossler. Vossler tonight 1 for 3. He's homered, struck out, and flown out. Oyakawa throws over to first base, and easily getting back in time is the runner at Muramatsu. So Vossler waggling the bat. And the pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball missing down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. So 1 ball and no strikes to the left-handed hitting Vossler. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0. Yeah, the 2-0 ready to come. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken at the knees. Count goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike. Left-hander against the left-hander. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and chopped foul right behind home plate. 2-2 it remains here to Vossler. Runner at first. Muramatsu, 1 gone here in the 7th inning. Dragons holding a commanding 6-2 lead. This game here has, we said a little while ago, had reached a bit of a grinding halt. We picked up the pace in the last inning when Hatake came into the pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It's hammered down the right field line. Over to cut it off is Morishita, rounding second and heading over to third is the base runner Muramatsu. So that is a single by Vossler. Runners are now on the corners. That's going to bring Yuta Ishii to the plate. And the Dragons have something brewing here in their half of the 7th inning as they got runners on the corners with 1 gone. Well, that brings to the plate the catcher Ishii, who is 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out, flown out, and bounced into a fielder's choice. Batting from the right side here against the left-handed throwing Oyakawa. As Oyakawa works himself to the set. Runners on the corners, 1 gone here. It's not been an easy inning for the lefty. He squares to bunt. Oh boy, I thought we were going to have ourselves maybe a safety squeeze. He pulls back and he takes a called strike to Zishi. No balls and 1 strike. Had to wonder there too, if the runner at first was going, Ishii walked right across the plate. If there would have been a throwdown or attempted throw to second base or anywhere, it might have been in a ripe spot for potentially for interference. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. Fastball that just misses outside. Count goes even at 1-1. I had a young catcher receive the ball in a game, and the batter, the right-handed batter, had backed up as the runner was trying to steal third. He had backed up, and what had happened was our catcher didn't throw the ball, and he was wanting interference. He said to him, we go, what are you doing? Throw the ball. And if you throw the ball and hit the guy, then the umpire's got to make a decision. You holding on to the ball gave no decision. Well, that's exactly what happened here with the catcher. There was no decision made. There's a fastball swung on, his hit into deep right field. This should be deep enough to get the run in. Morishita makes the catch. Tagging at third and heading in to score is Muramatsu with the 7th run of the game. Sacrifice fly off the bat of Ishii. He's gone, but he picks up an RBI. Out for the second out, and it has now restored the lead to 7-2, the 5-run lead that they had in the last half inning. And that is going to bring up Ryuko Tsuchida to the plate. So 2 gone here for the Dragons, inning 7. It is now a 7-2 lead for Chunichi, and it looks like Suchida coming to the dish. He's 2 for 3 tonight. He has homered, he's singled, he has struck out. He's had himself a nice evening as Cowie ready to deliver. That's a fastball that comes up and in, almost hits the batter. So 1 ball and no strikes. If you've just joined us, well, it started off with a home run in the first inning by the Tigers, and then it was 6 runs in a row by the Dragons. The Tigers answered back finally in the top of the 7th with a Maigawa home run. Fastball taken for a called strike. The count's 1-1, and now the Dragons have restored the 5-run lead with the sac fly by Ishii here in inning number 7. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Suchida. Looking ahead to the top half of inning number 8, it'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Tigers. There's a fastball swung on it, is popped up over on the right side of the infield. Underneath it is Nakano. He's got room. He makes the catch. And that is going to do it. Suchida gone for the 3rd out of the inning. But Dragons get 1 back. 1 run in the inning on 1 hit. There was no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. Your score as we move now to the top of the 8th inning. It is a 7-2 Dragons lead. Stick around. Kanamura is coming back out onto the hill. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with all the action right after this musical timeout. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back in just a bit. Well, interestingly enough, it's going to be Kenshin Makino who is coming on to pitch. So the night is going to be over for the lefty Kanamura. So Kenshin Makino in there as they're going to the bullpen a little bit earlier than last night. They got to get 6 outs, do the Dragons, and that might not be a easy task the way that they had started their season, but this is a new ball game and a new night, and certainly the Dragons have the opportunity to be able to try to close this one out here with 6 outs to try to be able to get. So who's he slated to face? It's supposed to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. So that means Obata, then the pitcher spot in the batting order, and the top of the order in Takadero. So one would have to think they're going to be going to the bench for a pinch hitter here for the pitcher. So we'll see what the Tigers have up their sleeves. Tigers only have 4 hits in tonight's ball game, and 2 of them have left the park. And it looks like we're going to start the pinch hitting a little bit earlier, as it's going to be number 85. And we'll have to see who that is for the Tigers. Number 85 making his appearance. Don't see that every day in terms of numbers. This is Renshiro Shimamura. So Renshiro Shimamura stepping in. Now he takes a first pitch fastball upstairs, and it is ball 1 to him. So ball 1 here, as he is hitting in the place of Obata. So that means we have ourselves a new shortstop. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. Count runs even to 1-1. Another solid crowd here in Golden Week as the Dragon fans are enjoying what they're seeing. I don't know if the traveling Tiger fans can say the same. So 1-1 strike. The left-hander Aquino ready to deliver. There's a fastball that just misses up, I suppose. Hard to tell sometimes, as I said, with the home plate umpire, where the pitches are. We don't have a K zone, and that's okay by me, but you can read the catcher sometimes and where he sets up, where the glove is, if he hits it, if he doesn't hit it. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Slow breaking ball swung on. This is popped up over on the right side. Moving over underneath it is a Vossler. He's going to make the catch. And Obata is going to be, check that. It's Shinamura is gone for the first out of the inning. And that will bring up the 9-hole hitter in the batting order. And this is going to be number 0. This is Seiya Kamani. So that's where the change was before, is Kamani had come in to pinch hit his last time. He had flown out in the last at bat. So Seiya Kamani in again to hit. Swinging on, fouling off the first pitch. We're losing our tongue here tonight. So Seiya Kamani on again. They had substituted him out earlier, or at least in that spot he came in to hit for the pitcher. Breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes to 1-1. So he came into the ball game in inning number 6. So that changed the pitcher's spot in the batting order. That's the beauty of the double switches. You got to really stay on top. There's a breaking ball that misses down. Doing the games in the Pacific League, because you got the DH, you don't have to really worry as much about double switches like you do in the Central League. Central League, there's all kinds of double switches. It's the old school managing that I'm going to miss. The National League, the strategy of the game. Fastball swung on. This is going to be lined past the glove of the shortstop, Muramatsu, into left field. That's going to be a base hit for Kanami as he goes the other way with it. It's going to bring up the top of the order in Nomura Takadero. Really going to miss the pitchers hitting and the double switches, the managerial strategy that goes into the game of baseball. Game is too easy. We're trying to make it too sophisticated. So Takadero steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2. He has a walk tonight. I know some people will maybe not share the same opinion that I have, but I really do like the fact that the pitchers hit, the double switches, the defensive managerial games within the game, as that fastball misses outside 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Takadero. Tigers running out outs. They only have 5 left to play with here, as they find themselves down by 5 here in the 8th. Here comes the 1-0. Slow breaking ball drops in for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1 on Takadero. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as Takadero ready to face the left-handed hitting, or the left-handed pitching Makino, as there's a fastball missing outside. The count now 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hanshin Tigers trailing the Dragons 7-2 here in the 8th inning. As the lefty again works to the set now, delivers. Fastball misses down. It's now 3-2 here to Takadero. Interesting here. This might be a time where you might want to put the runner in motion to try and stay out of the double play. And then, of course, we could have the good old-fashioned strike him out, throw him out, potentially. But this was my concern earlier. Were they going to keep the starter in for one more inning and then maybe go to the ninth with the bullpen? Dragons bullpen definitely brings the nail clippers out. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded past the diving third baseman into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Stopping at second is Kanami. Takadero has got himself a single, and now the Tigers have something brewing. As the table's been set, it's going to bring Takuma Nakano to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. If you are the Dragons, this is exactly what you didn't want to see happen. All got under the glove of the third baseman, Fukunaga, as he had dove. It looked like he may have got a piece of it. It just squirted under his glove. So this brings Nakano to the plate, who is 1 for 3 tonight. He has struck out, bounced into a fielder's choice, and he had a double his last time up. So 1 for 3 on the evening. He's raised his season average to 289. First pitch on the way, breaking ball down, count as 1-0. The Dragon fans. You know, you think about it, and you think about the fragility of teams sometimes. And this would be a moment where I would say that the Dragons would be fragile. Fragile from this perspective is that you've got a win yesterday. You got to get yourself on a bit of a roll. As the pitch on the way, fastball misses down. It's now 2-0. On your way to loading the bases for the big boys. Maybe we don't want to speak too soon, because the next thing you know, this game here could go sideways in a hurry. So 2 balls and no strikes to Nakano. The lefty, Makino, ready to deliver. Kicks and fires. Fastball misses upstairs. It's 3-0. Oh, boy. Well, better start getting the right-hander up down in the bullpen. The Dragons brass looking on in what I would call disgust. So 3 balls and no strikes. As the lefty again works to the set, here comes the pitch. On the way, fastball misses outside. It's going to be ball 4. And the bases are now loaded with Tigers here, and that is going to bring Shota Morishita to the plate, who was already homered here tonight. And that's going to bring the manager out of the Dragons dugout. Looks like he has seen enough. He's going right to the umpire. That'll make the change. The pitching coach is on his way to the mound. And we're going to take a timeout here because the Dragons, oh boy, they have positioned themselves in a tough spot here. They have a 7-2 lead. They've loaded the bases with 1 out. We're going to have ourselves a pitching change. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this from our friend Steve.
Hello, everybody. Steve Rodmacher coming back at you again. And during this pitching change, for a change of pace, let's open some baseball cards. We'll get through these quickly. 2023 Topps Big League. We have rookie card of Tyler Freeman to go along with a Matt Chapman. And why not a Jake Cronenworth? Shoot 'em, Jake! We do have a rookie card of Brett Beatty. That's pretty cool. To go along with the uncommon Carlos Correa. Pretty common to me, but what do I know? Trey Mancini to go along with a rookie of Kodai Senga. Freddie, tell them about Kodai. And one of my favorites, Devin Williams of my Milwaukee Brewers. All right, looks like the pitcher's coming in. Freddie, you can take over now.
Thank you there, Steve. It is going to be Toshihiro Segura who is coming in relief for the Dragons, and he is in a difficult situation as he's going to be Facing Shota Morishita with the bases loaded and with only one gone, it is Kanami, the runner at third, Takadero, the runner at second, and Nakano, the runner at first. Morishita, well, he is 1 for 3 tonight. He's got the homer in 3 trips. He's struck out and flown out in his other trips. So the Dragons are looking to try to play a little bit of defense here. And our friend Cam from says, how many outs? Well, we got 1 out here. So if you have just joined us here, the 7-2 lead never looked so fragile. As Morishita will come to the plate here with the bases full and 1 gone. So the pitcher is just completing his tune-up tosses and will be ready to resume the action in just a moment. But the Dragons, oh boy. You are a Dragon fan or a Dragon supporter, better keep the maillocks handy because it might be needed. Well, he's completed his tune-up tosses and we're ready to go here as Morishita steps up to the plate. He's got to be looking for something fat. There's nowhere to put it here or nowhere to put him on. So he is batting here from the right side as the right-handed throwing Segura ready to deliver. There's a first pitch breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. You got to get ahead in the count. You got to be able to give him something to swing at. But every pitch that you fall behind on just makes that pitch he's going to have to deliver in the zone fatter. And then you got Sato waiting on deck. So the Tigers, who find themselves in a hole here, could erase this deficit in a big-time hurry. Breaking ball down, they appeal over to first base. And they say that Morishita didn't go. It's now 2 balls and no strikes. Question comes in from the chat. Do I think over 10? Well, if you would have asked me 5 minutes ago, the answer to that would have been no. But the relievers for the Dragons have lit a gasoline fire on the mound here. And there is a 5-alarm blaze brewing. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Morishita. So 2 balls and a strike. Morishita batting from the right side here against the right-handed reliever in Segura. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball swung on it. Is lifted foul down the right field line, but it's going to drift its way into the seats, and now the count goes even to 2-2. This will be the chance right here. I hate to tell you, I think it's now or never. If they don't score here, I don't think they're going to come back in the 9th, and it's going to be difficult to score runs. So you're asking for the +10. It all comes down to these next 2 hitters, assuming that he doesn't roll into a double play. So it's now or never for you. So if the Tigers are going to do it, it's going to be now. Here comes the 2-2 pitch as the right-hander Segura kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on, grounded over to second. They go to second for 1, back to first. There's your double play, and probably not going to be your over 10, as that is going to be a 4-6-3 variety, and that is going to end the inning here for out number 3. Well, they threaten, do they ever, and they don't score. There was no runs in the inning. There was 2 hits. There were no errors, and there was a pair of runners left aboard. Your scores, we now move to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is the Dragons with a 7-2 lead. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments to bring this one home for you. Appreciate you listening on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back after this.
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out,
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters slated to come to bat for the Dragons. That's going to mean Tanaka, the pitcher's spot, and Orlando Calixte, 8, 9, and 1 to face. Well, probably another reliever here for the Tigers. We'll have to get that here for you in just a second. I don't know if they're going to stay with Oyokawa or if it is going to be a reliever. It is going to be a reliever here. As they are going to the bullpen, it is number 99. That would be Dari Moreta. So I hope I said that correctly. Dari Moreta, as he is on in relief. Slated to face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. And the first pitch was delivered a ball to Tanaka. Count is 1-0. Johnny says, am I doing a game tomorrow? Yeah, I am. As the pitch is a fastball swung on, is grounded, and it's going to eat up the third baseman, Sato. It's going to get down the line in left field, rounding first, and then throwing on the brakes is Tanaka. We're going to have to see if they're going to rule it a single or not. So to answer Johnny's question, yeah, with the game that we're looking at doing tomorrow is Kenta Maeda versus Hiromi Ito. It'll be the Eagles and the Fighters. I enjoyed doing a couple of games in the Central League, but I want to see Ito pitch. And I'd like to see if Maeda can shake out of this funk he's in. We'll have to wait and see there if we are able to get an update on that, if it's an error or if they ruled that a hit. They gave Tanaka a base hit. So he has got himself a single. It is going to bring number 63 into pinch hit. And that is Yutaro Itayama. So Yutaro Itayama to pinch hit. And the first pitch is a ball outside, as he is in the pitcher's spot. So Itayama on to pinch hit here. 1 ball and no strikes. So Tanaka get him in a hit. It's his second hit of the night. Cam says he needs the under 10. I still believe you're going to get it. I believe you. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. So it is Shimamura who is behind the plate. Would come in to hit in the last inning. So Moreta ready to deliver. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Fastball swung on, popped up over on the first base side. It's in foul territory. It looks like it's playable. Underneath it is Oyama. And he's going to make the catch. And gone is Itayama for the first out of the inning. So 1 out. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Calixte. So we're just saying about the looking ahead to the 9th inning, it'll be Sato, Oyama, and Maigawa. So 3 hitters that could blow up your under 10 with a solo shot. That would make you really, really ticked off, I'm sure. But one would have to think that, as I said before, their opportunity was last inning. Ground ball hit to short. They go to second for 1. Back to first. That's an inning-ending double play. And our friend Cam, who's in the chat here, he would like that. That's 6-4-3. And so you got 3 outs left to go here. And you got to be pumping a fist there, Cam. No runs in the inning. 1 hit, no errors. And there was nobody left aboard. We're moving to the top of the 9th inning. Your score is the Dragons with a 7-2 lead over the Tigers. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few right after this on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. And I'll comment on the comments when I return. Welcome back, everybody. We got ourselves going to the top of inning number 9. We're just waiting on the confirmation of the pitching of the Tigers, of the Dragons. The Tigers will be sending Sato, Oyama, and Maigawa to the plate here for inning number 9. As we will wait and see what that is going to come about. They do have a pitching change as they are going to a left-hander yet again, as that is another lefty here. This is going to be number 34, and that would be Hiroto Fuku. So number 34, Hiroto Fuku coming on in relief. So Fuku on in relief as he is going to be facing the middle part of the batting order. Our friend Johnny in the chat says, I need the Toyo Carp and the Dragons' last 2 legs. Carp tied it in the 9th, but the Bay Stars are up now. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what transpires over there. We'll look at that. There are some defensive changes for the Dragons, but fortunately I'm not going to be able to get you some of those as we are in the deep water here. And one thing I will say is this particular feed that the Dragons provide, I don't think they give you the best updates. Always they flash the players, but they don't always flash where they're at. Then you got to go hunt and peck. So I have to go look at Sports Navi. First pitch breaking ball delivered to Sato, misses way outside. Count is 1-0. Although I have to say this, Cam, I hope you're biting your fingernails. I hope you're holding on. It's white knuckle time for you, big guy. As the 1-0 pitch is on the way. And there's a fastball swung on, and this is lifted into deep right field. If it stays fair, it's trouble. And this ball is going to be gone. A home run for Sato. And I feel sorry for our friend Cam because I hate to break it to you. There goes your under 10. As Sato has just delivered a solo shot to cut the lead to 7-3. Oh boy. As he crosses the plate, it is now 7-3 for the Dragons. Johnny asked the question. He says, how do you decide which games to do? Is it the pitching matchups? Yeah, sometimes. That's generally how I like to look at it. Sometimes there's certain teams I want to see at times. Cam says he needs this to be the final. Well, Oyama's had a quiet night tonight. He's 1 for 3, but Maigawa is also homered tonight. As the pitch from the lefty is a fastball that misses inside. The count is 1-0. I know it's a 5-run lead that they have, but I got to be honest with you that Fuku here, I'd be concerned. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Cam says he needs the under 10.5. And there is a pitch that misses inside. It's now 2-1. You know, I was commenting last night on the two teams, and I said the Dragons' bullpen is a problem. And there is a fastball swung on it. It is lifted foul down the left field line, and the count is now 2-2. Johnny asked the question if it's after 12 innings. Yeah, 12 innings in the Japanese league that they'll end the game at a tie. But the Dragons, their bullpen, start biting your nails when they come in. It doesn't matter who. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. When they had Rydell Martinez, it was a different story. Fastball misses way upstairs, and the count now goes to 3-2 on Oyama. Well, from what I've seen here with a home run, and he's about to walk Oyama, it's better to get that. Might want to start getting that bullpen ready again. Fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. Count remains full to Oyama. That would be the utter frustration for anybody. I mean, I hate to laugh, and I feel kind of bad for our friend Cam in here tonight, but boy, oh boy. Fastball swung on, and did he miss? Yeah, he swung and missed. It didn't hit the catcher, but the catcher dropped the ball. He has to apply the tag on it. It wasn't fouled off, and Oyama's gone for the first out of the inning, and that is going to bring up Yukio Maigawa to the plate. I'll say this, Cam, if you can get through Maigawa, then I think you're going to be all right. Johnny asked the question, who is the Dragons closer? They better get him up for Cam quick. Yeah, that's a good question. With 10 wins on the season, they haven't had an opportunity to close too many games out. I was laughing. I said Rydell Martinez, who was their closer a couple of years ago, ended up in the Giants camp last year. He is as lights out as you can get. Fastball swung on and missed. It's now 1-1 here to Magawa. Magawa looked like he wanted to end Cam's night with that swing of the bat right there. Unfortunately, it's only worth 1 point. Not going to be able to get a whole bunch more on that big swing. There's a fastball at the knees for a called strike. 1-2. But once he gets through Magawa, unless they go to the bench for pinch hitters, there's nobody in the next 3 batters that scare me to put a ball into the seats outside of Magawa. Here's the 1-2. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. The count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So back to Johnny, he says, usually the pitching matchups, games I want to see that way, teams I'd like to see how they're playing. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into right center field. Coming in hard is the 2 outfielders, but over the shoulder catch by Tanaka. He was playing in shallow right field. Got to tell you, I hate the camera angles in this stadium as well. It'll be a while till I do another Dragons game. They focus in on the outfielders, and then the next thing you know is it's the second baseman out of nowhere with an over-the-shoulder catch for the second out. That's going to bring Ryotaro Umeno to the plate. We'll see if it is going to be the catcher, if they've decided to go to the bench. And it looks like we do have a pinch hitter on our hands here. This is number 60. And we can't tell you who number 60 is because they're not telling us who he is either. This is Dan Onodera. And there's 2 quick balls to Onodera. 28-year-old coming in to pinch hit here. So 2 balls and no strikes. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. It's count 2-1. Johnny asked the question. He says, what's up with the Swallows? Well, our friend Samurai Prayer, who was in here earlier, he cited the other night, he said, sometimes when you get managerial changes in with a team, it sparks them early on. And that's what happened with the Swallows. They had a managerial change. Yeah, they lost Murakami. Last year, they had a problem with their pitchers staying healthy as that fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to 2-2. P1 in Changeall says, who's pitching right now? It's the Dragons are pitching. The Tigers are batting. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Tigers are down to their final strike, not just their final out. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball missing down. It's now 3-2 to Onodera. So the manager, but they've started the slide now. This might be the slide of the Swallows. I still have them finishing last in the Central League, so their honeymoon is over. Fastball swung on, grounded to third. Oh, nice play there by the third baseman, Fukunaga. He throws to first, and our friend Cam can pump a fist. It's a ground out 5-3. That's going to do it. And that'll be it here. His heart rate skipped a beat when Sato hit the home run here to lead off the inning. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. Sato drills his 9th homer of the year. But they fall a little bit short, 7-3. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We'll give you all the wrap-up and the rundown. We'll talk a little bit about tomorrow night's game, and then we will shut her down for the night. But we appreciate you guys for hanging with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city, San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to clean this one up for you, then we're going to call it a night. So we had action similar start to last night's game as the Hanshin Tigers jumped out to an early 1-0 lead in inning number 1. A solo shot off the bat of Shota Morishita got things going. Dragons responded in their half of the second inning. Jason Vossler deposited a solo shot into the seats, even the score at 1-1. Dragons added 3 more in the third on a bases clearing triple with 1 gone off the bat of Kaito Muramatsu. That made the scoreline 4-1. They added a couple more runs in the fourth inning, a leadoff home run by Riku Tsuchida. That made the scoreline 5-1. And then after a walk to Tanaka, it was Kanamura, the pitcher, reaching on an error. Then it was Calixte striking out. Fukunaga walked to load the bases, and up stepped Muramatsu, and he hit a sacrifice fly bring home another run. That made the scoreline 6-1, and that was 4 RBIs for him on the night. They added another run a little bit later, but it was a home run by off the bat of Maigawa that cut the lead to 6-2. The Dragons reestablished that lead, and it was a walk to Muramatsu to start the 7th. After a strikeout by Hosokawa, Vossler singled, and Ishii hit a sacrifice fly to bring home Muramatsu. That made the scoreline 7-2. And then the third run of the night was another home run hit by the Tigers, and this was Teraki Sato, who had a solo shot in the 9th. That made the scoreline 7-3, and that was your final here tonight. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard before we put this one to rest, as there is a full slate of games around the NPB, and we'll close these ones out here for you as well. In the game is over at the Tokyo Dome between the Giants and the Swallows. 3-2, the Giants win that one. Top of the 10th inning, Yokohama and the Carp locked at 5. So we'll see how that game shapes up. Our friend Johnny says he needs, I think he said the Carp will be back there. Yeah, we'll be on at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern, so hopefully you can join us. Probably going to be the Eagles and the Fighters. I'll have to double check just based on weather. Sometimes that outdoor games and the weather do not play a part of being friendly, so that could impact our game. 3-2, the Eagles beat the Fighters tonight. That game is over. Another game that is over, the Buffaloes win 6-1 over the Marines. That was at the Kyocera Dome in Osaka. And at the top of the 9th inning, the Hawks have come back on the Lions. It is a 6-4 lead for the Hawks. That is in the top of the 9th inning. Well, we wish everybody a good evening. We thank everybody who stopped in tonight, whether you listen live or on delay. It's always great to have you listening into the channel. We'll be back on again tomorrow, and then we'll probably miss a couple of days. We're going to be out of town on the weekend, and so that'll put a wrench into our scheduling, and then we'll be back on the airwaves later next week for all kinds of action. So hopefully you guys can join us for that when you guys are back around. All right, everybody. Once again, it's been another Last Raps Baseball video production. It is the final score, Dragons 7, Tigers 3. Have a great night, everybody. We will catch up with you again tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Pacific. Hope you can join us.